What's up, everyone? Welcome to Game Tangent, the community for super obsessed gaming nerds just like myself. My name is Chris Enriquez, aka Hyper Neon. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Destiny 2. We had the gameplay reveal event last week, I guess now at this point. I just wanted to talk about like a whole bunch of new information has come out. New classes, new worlds, new content, all kinds of stuff. And so I wanted to take a minute to kind of like parse through all of that, kind of do a deep dive, and give my opinion of kind of what's going on with that. I haven't played actually since basically year one. And so I thought it would be worthwhile to bring in someone who's currently playing the game, and just to offer like a different opinion of someone who's still vested in that world. And so with me today I have a fellow member of Team MC, ACGC from ACGC Gaming. So welcome to the stream, man.
Cheers, thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
It's great to be here.
Yeah. And so I think what we're going to do is just go back and forth, and we've got a few points that we want to bring up, and and we'll just kind of, you can give one, I can give one, and we'll go from there. Sound good?
Sweet.
And
sounds good.
and I wanted to preface this by saying that we did this call once before, actually, earlier this week. Being the professional that I am, I forgot to hit record on one of the cameras, and so we lost all that footage. And so we're actually recording this for the second time, so there are certain things that he'll say that I actually kind of, I think, know, like certain points that he may bring up. But also, it's been, I don't know, 6 days since then, so there's actually been some new information that has come out since then, and we can talk about that now as well. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So I started us off last time, so I think it's only fair that I let you start us off this time and give your first point.
Well, obviously from last time, I know that the one thing that we're both looking forward to is the new story.
Right.
Because obviously the first one didn't really have much to begin with, and from all the reveal and everything that's come out since, they really seem to be focused on telling the story this time through cutscenes, and a lot more integration into the game with a lot more personality.
Absolutely.
And we touched on it before about Destiny having probably one of the most expansive lores in pretty much any console game, really.
Yeah.
But it's all within the Destiny cards.
Yeah, the Grimoire cards.
The Grimoire cards, and
which they have said that there will be no Grimoire cards anymore.
Have they really?
I'm pretty sure I saw an article somewhere in the ethos that said no Grimoire cards.
That's good. That bodes well for us that don't like to go to a website and read.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's something I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I've spent, I think I looked up the other day, I think it was 72 days in Destiny.
Wow.
Or something like that.
That's a lot.
I ran a code which brought all of my characters' data together. It was like 72 days. I was like, damn. Which, to be fair, isn't a lot over 3 years.
I don't know. That's debatable. That's debatable.
But I mean, yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting into that and just blitzing it straight away, and just finding out all about the new characters and stuff like that. So
yeah, that was my that's like my biggest thing that I really want out of the game is the better in-game world building. Yeah, I want to know more about the Guardians, the Ghosts, the Traveler. What are all the different factions about? And yeah, like you said, I don't want to have to go and read Grimoire cards or go to a website to learn about it. And it does seem like that the story itself is much more cinematic. It has these protagonists that are very charismatic, and you have like Zavala and Cade and Ikora that it seems to be centering around. Like the story seems to talk about like them losing their light and what that means for them, and like I'm I'm super excited because I think that means that they're gonna have to talk more about like what is the Traveler like, how is it able to bring them this light, and if the Red
Yeah.
Legion can come and take it away, does that mean like they could then take the light? Like, can they become one with the light or whatever? Like, I don't know. It's just they'll have to answer some questions that I think a lot of us have, and that's pretty
Yeah,
exciting
'cause
to
I
me.
mean, in the trailer, it's all about he, like the new evil villain, as you
Hmm.
say. Was it Dominus Ghoul?
Hmm.
He obviously he's jealous that he didn't get chosen by the Traveler to receive the light. So finding out if he can just take the light, or if he's just literally just like
Right.
stopping other people from having the light, then gonna be something that interests me quite a lot,
Yeah.
really.
Yep. Let's see what else do we got. So I'll give. I think my next one. So in the same vein, as story would be just content in general. For
Yeah.
me is I just want more of it right up front. I don't want them to kind of trickle out these things just kind of like over time. I really want I want more strikes, more variation in patrol missions and more bounties and just in general just more things to do. In the first game you would start playing the game and probably day one you could be through all the story content very easily, and it wasn't more than maybe like a week or two before you're just redoing the same bounties and the same patrol missions over and over again, and
Yeah.
it's just not enjoyable. So it sounds like they've kind of taken that to heart and they recognize that. And so Steve Cotton, who was the world lead, said he brought out he was on stage during the reveal event. And he talked about three kind of new things, which kind of collectively they're calling, I guess, adventures, and
Yeah.
it's the treasure maps and these heroic objectives, and then the lost sectors. And so it just seems like the lost sectors in particular seem like these almost like mini dungeons or something that you kind of go into and
Yeah,
explore as a team.
I was quite intrigued by that because it's
Yeah.
like mini objectives that lead to like a final boss, which
Right.
guards a treasure chest and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so that's kind of like a mini strike, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Just in the open world that you can do on your own
Right.
or with friends, rather than having to group up with someone. It's something that you can something kind of end gamey that you can
Right.
do on your own
Right.
rather than with other people. So that's pretty cool. I was gonna say, see, with those things, they're the new map.
Yep.
They're actually going to put the stuff on the map now, so you
Yeah.
can see where stuff is,
And
rather than
when?
going, oh right, so I need to do this, but was that in the Skywatch or was that over in the Moth Yards? And then
Right.
having to search for like hours on end
Right.
for a public event that's going to drop randomly.
Right, or
So
go to the websites that would like they had the nice map and it would tell you, oh, here's where the public event happens, but it's still only like a percent chance of it actually happening. They kind of
yeah,
would like guess based on like timers and based, I guess, on past like I think it was like user feedback, right? Like if you went and an event was happening, you could go to the website and say, oh, an event is happening right now, and
yeah, I think
then
it started out that you went click, like you confirmed, and then after time they went, oh well, that's kind of the pattern, so it must be around then.
right, but
And
even then, it wasn't always guaranteed.
no,
So they figured out that
never.
there was this kind of pattern, but that pattern wasn't always a definite. And so you'd go there and you'd wait around for 20 minutes, at the time it was supposed to happen, and it would just never happen. And
Yep.
now they said that, yeah, the timers are going to be on the map, so you'll know when and where these things are supposed to happen. So that's pretty cool. And they also talked about not having to go back to orbit to launch new events and new activities, which is going to be so
Yes.
awesome. Like you can just go straight from one planet to another, and
That's going to be cool. But
yeah.
it does mean that you won't be able to look at your nice new ships as often.
As I'm sure they'll still be there on the loading screens. Like when you pick your next, like if your objective takes you to a new planet, I'm sure there will be a ship that takes you, and like you'll just be on the loading screen watching your ship fly.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I saw a video. They've changed the engine slightly in
uh-huh.
this game. So obviously, whereas Destiny 1 was PS1, sorry, PS3 and PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One.
Yeah.
So this is just basically consoles and PC,
Yeah.
and they haven't changed the engine, but they've sorted out some of the issues they had with Destiny 1's engine,
Okay.
which is allowing them to create content a lot faster.
Interesting.
So whereas before they had a lot of issues getting new content in, which is why I'm guessing expansions and new
Yeah.
content took so long,
Yeah. True.
to like come in, like
Yeah.
one a year pretty much,
Yep.
or one decent one a year. Um, Hopefully, them being able to add in new, fresh stuff more
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
Obviously, that links back to your point about wanting more content in the game.
Yeah.
That might allow them to change the area of lost sectors over time and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
um,
True.
stuff.
It'd be nice if they were able to add in, because if they are able to add in content faster and it's a little bit easier for them, hopefully they could have some content they just kind of like add in for free or they alter,
Yeah,
and then they can still have the stuff that they, when it's like a major release, like, okay, here's like a crap load of stuff. This is going to be part of a DLC, because we obviously know there's like at least 2 confirmed scheduled DLCs. No release date or anything on that yet, but um, so we know that there will be paid, and there's a season pass and all that kind of stuff associated with that. But it'd be
yeah,
nice if they could still add in things, yeah, like you said, maybe more minor stuff like, oh, we added some new types of patrol missions and some new public events or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
yeah. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Like, that's, as you say, that's one thing where it lacked a bit, especially early on in
Yep.
Destiny 1's life cycle.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more to do now. There's like
Right.
7 different people to get bounties from now instead of
Yeah.
just the one, and
Right.
so they have made it better in
Yeah.
Destiny 1, but there's definitely a way to go.
Yeah, because my concern was, like, in the first game, like I told you before, I got so burned out just running those same missions, running around and just kind of doing the same things over and over and over again, and I was just so frustrated by it that when the new content came out, I wasn't willing to give them any more money. I was just like, nope, I'm done. And it's a shame, because I know the game has gotten much better since then. Like, players like you who have gone back to it and who have stayed with it through all the DLC seem to be really loving it and like loving the new systems and the fixes that they've put in place. Yeah, so I hope that they don't re-break any of that, and that they have enough, because I really do think that they put some of those barriers in place kind of on purpose. Like, that's my tinfoil hat theory, that they wanted to make things take a little bit longer to get to because they didn't have as much content up front.
Yeah.
So they were just trying to dangle the carrot until the next DLC, and that ended up frustrating me more than like keeping me engaged. So, yeah. All right, do you want to go on another topic?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're just talking about the warlock, the characters and their abilities and stuff. Obviously, there's all the new subclasses, and
Yep.
obviously, it doesn't look like they're gonna add an extra like element in or anything like that.
Right.
But obviously, we've got obviously this fire, lightning, and void. But sun, lightning, void. But I don't think obviously there's going to be at least, I say, six new subclasses to start off with, I guess, two for each.
Although
two for
some
each
of them
character.
are right, and although some of them are a little bit like they're the same. It's not necessarily new, but they've just changed like the way it works.
Yeah,
Kind of,
I
right,
mean,
like the gunslinger.
I haven't seen much on those. I've only really seen the warlock one. Was it Dawnblade? I think they called it.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool, and the Arc Strider. I haven't seen the gunslinger. Too much info about that. I think you've got some info on the classes.
Yeah, so I pulled up a little bit of information. So, like, this is one of the benefits of doing this now a week later, is there's been a lot of like gameplay stuff that's come out, and some people have actually gone into there's footage online, you can find it. I think I found this on Eurogamer actually. There were some videos of them actually going through the menu and like the loadout menu and like the new kind of class tree and how you pick your abilities. And so the Titan, so the Sentinel is the one that throws that like Captain America shield. So you no longer have the bubble shield that you dropped. You now have the Captain America shield that you can bash enemies with, kind of with a melee. You can throw it and it'll like chain and bounce off enemies. Or I guess you can also hold it out, and apparently then this is one that like I think no one got to play this character yet, so I couldn't find any gameplay footage. But I think they said that I guess it can absorb damage from like a certain area around it. But like when they showed it in the video, he's like, it's clearly something that you can like toggle on and off, because he seems to like hold his shield in front of him, and then he's walking really slowly, then all of a sudden he puts it down and then he moves really quickly again.
Yeah.
So it's maybe like, if you hold left trigger and aim down sights or something, it like pulls it up. I don't know.
That'd be pretty cool.
And yeah, and I guess it kind of like absorbs incoming attack from other enemies
Yeah.
within some type of field. Um, and
Oh,
then
nice.
then the light side of that is, or the lightning side, is the Fist of Havoc. And so instead of just the like Titan smash that it used to be, which was just like the single smash, and that was it. It was used, and like you would hit a door or something and like screw it up. Now it's actually multi-use. So when you
Yeah, I did actually see. I saw a video of that
right,
on YouTube. I think it was
uh huh,
like a kind of thing by I can't remember who it's from, but I just saw like a 5 second clip of just some guy doing it like 3 or 4 times in a row, and I
yeah.
was like, "What?
So the
Titans
way
were overpowered."
So the way it works now is, you use it, and so when you use your super, it just activates, and you just become like a powered up Titan. Then you can either choose to, your shoulder bashes will be like much stronger, so you can run around. You can like shoulder bash multiple enemies. You're like, I guess, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, um, or you can just slam multiple times.
Oh,
And it
nice.
looked to be about like maybe like 5 times, but basically each time you either shoulder charge or slam, it uses up like a portion of the energy, and it's on some type of cooldown as well.
Yeah.
But like the more you use it, the faster it'll cool down. So it may be that you can only use it 3 times if you spread them out a lot, but if you like do them in quick succession, you can do them maybe like 5 or 6 times.
Nice.
People, it's unconfirmed, but they just kind of assume that it's probably like a little bit weaker because you can like just spam it. But
Yeah.
I'm assuming that in PvP, it's still like, if you're in that radius, like it's probably still like an insta kill,
Yeah.
or at least,
As long as the Titan's not in like invincible like he is with the current slam.
yeah, yeah,
Because if you see a Titan coming in with a slam at the moment,
yeah,
you can't kill him. Like
yeah.
he is
That's true.
literally invincible.
Yep.
So as long as it's not like that, and you
Yeah, I mean,
can
I think because you can run around and still move around, like I assume that you can just still take damage, and someone can take you out like while you're in your super.
uh,
So, yeah. So then you had, the Warlock, and so they showed off the Dawnblade, which is the one you just talked about, which is where you
good.
summon the epic flaming sword.
Yeah,
Um,
and just
and
fly around wreaking havoc. That
yeah,
looks amazing.
and
I can't wait.
in the videos they talked a little bit about kind of the different, things you can do. So, there's like these different groups of 4 kind of abilities, let's say, that you can pick from, um, but you have to pick all 4. So they're basically like 2 kind of sub sub classes of like Dawnblade, let's say, and it
Okay.
alters the way you use it. So in the one, it basically, it allows you to like float in the air a little bit longer. You can also do, like, they call it like the Phoenix dive or something like that. And basically, while you're floating in the air, it'll rush you to the ground really quickly, and as you're coming down to the ground, you'll regenerate health. And there's
Oh,
another
that's nice.
bonus that once you touch the ground, you actually do area of effect damage like on those around you. So
Ah,
apparently you could like jump up, throw a bunch of dawn blades, and then like rush down, regenerate health, and when you hit the ground and like a group of enemies, like do some damage as well.
so yeah, that would be pretty awesome for
Yeah,
raids,
yeah,
especially
exactly.
like in situations like in Crota
Hmm.
where you can't regenerate health
Yeah.
unless you've got the chalice.
Yep.
Obviously, if that works in like the same kind
Yeah.
of way, whereas you can do that and regenerate health, that's gonna be
Yep.
pretty cool.
Well, and also you
So,
now have the new, like passive abilities and that kind of stuff. So, um,
oh, the Warlock's got the healing light, hasn't
right.
it? I think
So
or
he
something like
has.
that.
So I guess that's, yeah. So he can drop. And so these are, whether you're doing, whichever class of Titan, or sorry, whichever class of Guardian you're using. They each have 2 abilities, of which you can pick one, and those 2 are across all 3 subclasses.
Okay.
So in this case, in the case of the Warlock, no matter what type of Warlock you're playing, you'll always be able to either drop a healing field or a damage boost field.
So basically, like
Yeah.
the light from the Titan bubble
Yeah.
shield in the first game.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
now, and so the Titan also has, I forgot to mention this, he has 2 types of shields that he can, so he no longer has the bubble shield. His 2 are, he can either drop a small shield, like a small barrier that you can actually crouch down next to, and whenever you aim down sights, you pop up over the barrier. And so it's a
Nice.
really nice way to kind of like peek out. And so people
Yeah,
are saying what you could do is a Titan could drop that, the Warlock could drop the damage boost or the healing, and then all your team of three can all hide behind it, be getting healed or damage boosted, and just popping up and like taking pot shots at like an enemy or
that sounds
something.
awesome.
Yeah, and then his other one, the Titan's other one, is actually just a much larger shield that you can't like shoot through or anything, but you can use it to like block off an area. So if there's like a doorway that maybe like ads are coming through, you could block off that doorway and just kind of stop the ads for a little while.
So it's
Um,
becoming quite a bit more tactical then
yeah,
in that
exactly.
respect. So
Yep. So it's pretty
that's pretty cool.
interesting. And then the other warlock that they didn't really talk about too much is you still have the Nova Bomb warlock. Um, so kind of just like before. And then the hunter, yeah, you have the Arcstrider, which is the one that uses the staff with like the lightning, and you were, I think you call him the pole dancer or
The pole
whatever.
dancer, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Used to be the blade dancer, now it's the pole dancer. So
Yeah. Yeah. So he looks pretty cool. I didn't really see too much about what I don't remember what the two side abilities were for the hunter class. Um, but then the other one is still the golden gun, so the
uh,
gunslinger,
yeah,
and now I guess like one of his, like I said, they have the two kind of like sub classes, and one of his, I don't remember what all of them were because there was like a lot of just variability in some of them, but one of the boosts was that he could do 6 shots instead, and he could fire, but the cooldown, like the gunslinger lasted, or the golden gun was a shorter duration. And
okay.
so you had to basically, it was like in Overwatch, where McCree like um, what is it, fans the
Fans a revolver.
yeah,
I think.
exactly. And so you basically have to fire them off in quick succession. But if you're like fighting a big, huge hulking boss, which is like really easy
Yeah,
to hit, you actually do like a ton of damage. So probably not as great for PvP where you need to take some time to aim. But on a big boss in PvE or in a strike or in a raid, you could do like a ton of damage really quickly. So kind of
yeah.
interesting.
So yeah,
And
they made a few interesting changes then. So
yeah,
that's good news. And
exactly. And yeah, and the warlock, obviously, that means the Dawnblade has replaced the
the
resurrection.
revive,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
That
So
that is literally the best thing ever. The
yep,
revive. So no.
yeah, and it's like the most
Oh,
hated by like everyone else because
I wonder though, because obviously you mentioned it links into a phoenix in some of the
yeah,
abilities.
yep,
I wonder if they'll bring something in to like rising from the ashes or something like that.
yeah, maybe. There definitely wasn't anything like you can go and you can see. There's videos online where people just literally go through every single item in the new tree, the
Uh,
new ability tree, and also
it could
abilities
change.
now. Yeah, now abilities have you unlock them with like items now. Um,
Okay, not
y-
experience.
yeah, exactly. So there are um, it said something like when he hovered over like one of the locked abilities, it said you needed like one ability token or something like that to unlock it.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how that works out and how you earn ability tokens and that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe you just like level up for XP and get an ability token instead of like a mote of light or something like that. Or
Possibly, yeah.
but yeah,
Yep,
but yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah. So those are all the new classes um, that we know of so far. I'm assuming there'll be 9. Um,
Probably eventually, yeah.
yeah. All right.
Um,
Uh, do you want to give another one since I talked like a crap ton about the classes?
yeah, no, yeah. Basically, I'm just looking forward to the new raids and the new nightfalls and the new strikes and
Yeah.
um, everything to do with that. Because I mean, Destiny, in my opinion, is probably the best gun gunplay game,
Yeah, I agree.
like first person shooter
It
kind of.
feels so good just to like pop a
It's
headshot
so
off.
nice.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really describe how nice it feels to play Destiny after playing something like Battlefield or COD. I know obviously
Yeah.
completely different games, but
Yep.
um, it's just so nice to be able to like swing around and just
Yeah.
pop someone off.
Well, I think
Yeah,
they did a really good job. I think their like bullet magnetism and their like reticule like aim assist is a
Yeah,
little bit stronger because it's on, and they, because they're a company that came from consoles, and I think they just, Bungie just knew how to perfect that, and so playing on console, it just feels
that's
so
it.
right. You're like, you feel like a badass, like you feel like you can just slam those headshots like all day long.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
like the sound effects and stuff like that.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, it's nothing better than like using a Hawk Moon and
Yeah.
just literally hearing that sound. It's like, oh, it's so good. But yeah, that and the new raids, Nightfalls and stuff is
Yeah.
going to be amazing. I'm excited to see what new aspects they bring to the raids, and
Yeah.
if they're going to take stuff from other games to try and incorporate it in. So obviously we were saying before that they've taken quite a lot of inspiration from WoW, like
Yep.
World of Warcraft and their raids and their like dungeons and stuff like that. So if
Yeah.
they're going to take a few kind of mechanics from that, maybe
Yeah.
have like a, I don't know, like an area of effect kind of, you have to attack bosses from different angles at different times and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Should Could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I really want, um yeah, more of like the puzzle element. Just
Yeah.
like it was just really good. It was really fun to play that and like just figure that out with your friends and kind of understand like, okay, we keep getting wiped here by the oracles. Okay. Oh, and they
Ah,
make this sound. Oh, we should probably shoot, like that's, that's the one that we have to go take out. We got to kill all the
yeah.
oracles. And you
I
slowly just figure all that stuff out, and it's so cool.
I remember like back in like year one, I was part of quite a heavy raiding guild kind of thing,
Yeah.
and we were in the mix for we were playing it first day of release. Literally spent I think 11 hours
Okay.
just wiping through different parts of Vault of Glass
Wow.
and just gradually like getting through. I mean, so I think the first team to do it done it in like 6 hours or something like that.
Right.
We were
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck? How could you do that? What? How? What?" So that like feeling of accomplishment of figuring out how to do it and
Yeah.
getting working with your friends and stuff like that to actually beat that boss
Yeah.
was just, it's like that's why a game, like that's one of the reasons why a game, because you don't get that sense of accomplishment from just like
Well, it's like
just playing.
accomplishment and like camaraderie, because you're like
Yeah,
you have to work so closely together to get it all right, and yeah.
exactly. I mean, but yeah,
Yep.
and the thing that the massive thing that they've brought up with raids, nightfalls, and trials and everything like that
Mm,
is the introduction of the clan system.
right.
See, they had clans in Destiny 1, didn't they?
Yeah.
But it wasn't really incorporated in the game. It gave you a little tag next to your name, and
Yeah.
that was pretty much it. But now they've added in the extra clan support. So so if you lose a member at the last second, you can grab a random person that's looking to play the content
Yep.
and maybe make a new friend, but
Yeah.
it means you don't have to cancel that raid, or if you're on your own, you can go
Yeah.
join someone else instead of having to find six mates all
Yeah.
online at the same time for
Yep.
4 hours,
Yeah.
and
Or
then
go to the tower and try and hope,
spam
well,
invites.
spam invites to people, or hope that they're in like game chat and can hear you like saying, "Does anyone want to do a raid? Does anyone want?"
Yeah, or the infamous Destiny LFG.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how I did my first, the regular raid, the regular mode. I had a group of people, and in between and this, I was gonna get to this when we talk like about my next point, which is kind of like the grind in the RNG system. But we kind of fell apart after the normal mode raid because I got my raid gear super quickly and I hit light level 30, and they didn't, and they had been playing so much more than me, and they got super frustrated and basically were like, well, we got another guy because you don't actually need gear anymore. And so for the hard mode raid, I didn't have a group with. I had like one other friend, and yeah, we had to go to Destiny LFG and just find random people to do it with, and that's so much harder to like do the hard mode raid with a group of randoms, because inevitably someone dies, and you're much less forgiving to a random when they die than
Yeah,
to if you have a group of friends. And so if you'd get into the raid, someone would die, and then someone else on your team would just quit. They'd just be like, they'd be out. That's it. And they
rage
had
quit,
no
and
patience. Yeah,
then
and then now you're
people have,
back to LFG again, looking for another group.
and somebody says they're like level 30 with a Galahorn
Yeah,
maxed out. and then they come in and like, I've got this rocket launcher. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
So,
excited for the clan system. I do think that I foresee that every clan that has the randoms in will totally blame their failures on the randoms that they get because that's just the nature of gaming. No, we don't
yeah.
suck. It's just all our randoms. Like they screwed us. We got bad randoms. But I think it'll also add some fun and hopefully allow people to meet new people and find new clans that maybe they want to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yep.
that is something I'm looking forward to as well.
Yeah.
Just getting out there and meeting new people in it. So.
Yep.
So
It's a welcome addition for sure.
mm,
Um, so my last point then, kind of, I started touching on it, is that I just want like way less pointless grinding. I'm okay with grinding to a certain extent, right? Like I'm okay with like working towards getting my level and having to spend a lot of time and invest a lot towards leveling up. But don't make it totally RNG based like it was kind of in the first game, right? Where you would do a raid and it was a probably less than 50-50 chance whether you would actually get the item that you would need. You could get duplicates of items because there was no loot tables. Like there isn't one. You would get duplicates of items. You would just get like shards instead of items. You would get an engram that would decode into it'd be an exotic engram, and instead it would decode into like a rare item.
yeah.
Don't just get rid of all that. Like, you could lower the chances, make it very clear as far as like what are the percent chance that you'll get something, and don't stop me from doing end game content simply because I've been screwed by I haven't prayed to RNGesus enough.
Yeah. I mean, bringing in something like obviously um, they brought in specific coins and stuff like that for specific
Yeah.
things in Destiny 1.
Right.
So I mean, even if they brought in like a raid specific token where
Yeah.
you could you saved up however many tokens and you could buy that one piece of armor that you needed or something like that, or
And you can make it
obviously,
take forever, but
yeah.
I'm okay with that. But at least there needs to be light at the end of the tunnel, right? Don't.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm still looking for a Mythoclast from the Vault of Glass,
Yeah.
and I've done
And that's year
about,
one. Like that's.
like I know obviously they did get rid of the Mythoclast in year 2.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, but they brought it back year 3. Basically, they changed the raids, the
Right.
strikes, and everything like that to incorporate the Wrath of the Machine, the new raid.
Okay.
Where they've basically made the Seaver take over everything. They've made it a lot harder. A different dynamic in each, like different tactics and stuff needed to complete
So
each strike and stuff like that.
so are the raids different? So like if I went and did Vault of Glass now, would it be different than when I did Vault of Glass in year
Yeah,
one? Really?
it is slightly different. Yeah, and there's different mechanics as well. And they've
Huh.
brought in challenge modes for the last 2 bosses, or for 2
Okay.
bosses in each raid as well.
Interesting.
So, like for example, in Vault of Glass, when you just before you defeat Atheon, when you've got to go through the things to kill the oracles, the like portals to kill the oracles.
Yeah.
The challenge mode on that at the moment is that only one, or was it you can only kill one oracle per person.
Ah, interesting.
So in order to get everyone in order to do it, you have to have your 3 get teleported in there, them all kill one, and the other 3 from outside come in, kill the last remaining 3, and then you all and so it takes so much more cooperation and coordination to actually get it done.
Interesting.
But yeah, they added some interesting kicks to the raids and stuff now, which is just spiced it up a little bit for this last little stretch.
Yeah.
Towards,
I know that
like
a lot of the complaints I have with the pointless grinding are kind of relics of the past, right? They are things that Bungie really has fixed. Just from talking with players that play the game now, and talking with you, the end game content, the raids aren't necessarily locked behind running around in circles and doing a farming run for hours on end, in order to get the materials you need. And total just RNG, freaking potluck, which I think is great. I think that that's how the game should be. Let me play the game how I want to play. Let me go play with my friend. I remember just like starting up the game and like my friends are on. It's like, well, sorry guys, can't play with you right now because I gotta go do my patrol missions to like get
Gotta get some
whatever
helium.
exactly, or I gotta go run around in a circle and get helium and get iron or whatever it was, for an hour. um,
Yeah,
and like that shouldn't be that way. My friends are on, let me go play, and if I play 150 hours of your game, like I should be maxed out on, maybe I don't have every single piece of gear because I haven't done, every raid or every strike, but I've been playing for 150 hours. I should still be like pretty much max level, and I can go easily do the raids and the strikes that I need to do now,
yeah,
without having to run around in a circle and farm things and whatever. So I'm concerned that because it's a new game and like a slightly new engine and all that kind of stuff, that if there's not enough content, that they would, like I said, the tinfoil hat in me, tinfoil hat theory, is that they would put, these were just all kind of artificial gating mechanisms that they would maybe put back in place. Um, and I really really hope they won't do that. Like my hope is that they just take everything from the current Destiny that people love at this point, and basically like, yeah, that's the starting point of Destiny 2.
yeah.
And
I, I
and there will be
I can't
tweaks
see them
and
going back. I can't see them going
yeah,
backwards.
yeah,
Like I think that like Bungie, they're very well known for learning from their past mistakes.
yeah,
I think. I mean, you saw with Halo 1, 2, and 3, got
yep,
better and better and better,
yeah,
and obviously it may be a new kind of like subdivision kind of thing of
yeah,
Bungie and stuff, but yeah, I think they're gonna. I think it's gonna do well.
yeah.
Um,
I think
and
so. I'm very optimistic.
yeah, the only thing that I've got like, well, a couple of things that I'm slightly unsure about is
Uh huh.
the PvP side of
Okay.
things. Um, see, we talked about it before, but switching to 4v4 and
Mhm.
only 4v4,
Yeah.
um, for someone who's not a serious PvP player,
Okay.
I think that's not going to go down that well.
Yeah.
So 4v4 takes it more tactical. It means you've got to cooperate more, and you've really got to focus. But
Yeah, that's true.
going back to Halo, you had those modes, but
Yeah.
then you had
You also
big
had the
team.
big. Yep.
You had
Yeah.
big team, 16v16,
Yeah.
massive like sandbox
Yep.
where you could literally just have fun
Yeah.
and just fly over the map with a rocket launcher on your warthog and stuff like that. And so I mean,
I have to imagine that they will have some of that. I don't know if they'll increase team size at all. If they'll have modes that have more team, bigger team sizes. But I have to imagine they'll still have like fun modes and, um,
yeah, I mean
special
even if they
events
had
where
like
they,
a
yeah,
even like a four-way, like a 4v4v4v4,
that'd be
and
interesting.
that would be pretty cool. And like you could literally like
Yeah.
the like even in that time of things, the esports side of things would be amazing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like the top four esports teams
All
going
competing.
head to head, all competing?
That'd be pretty interesting. So my concern here, and why I don't necessarily think, I'm not confident that they would go more than 4v4, is because when they were straight up asked about the 60 frames per second and why it's not 60 frames per second even on PS4 Pro, um, they basically straight up said that, the CPU, just isn't powerful enough to do all the
Yeah,
simulations with the way that they're doing them, right? Um, just all of the whatever the physics and the interactions and the hit calculations and all that kind of stuff. Um, and so if it's not, if if they're toning it down, they're making it, or we're not toning it down, but they're keeping it at 30 frames per second, even on PS4 Pro and presumably on Scorpio as well, because CPU is an issue. Then I can't imagine that they're then going to ramp it up. Like if it's an issue with 4v4, it's going to be an issue. It's even more of an issue with 6v6 or 4v4v4v4 or 12v12.
yeah.
Like any other kind of combination you can think of, just stresses it even more.
I mean
Um,
that's quite interesting, really, because I I read something a couple of days ago from one of the like lead directors at Respawn,
yeah,
um, and they said something about if they offloaded some of them calculations to the cloud,
Yeah.
like other games do, then that would free up a hell of a lot of CPU
Yep.
for increasing that frame rate.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
why they haven't done that, I don't know.
Yeah, in the article, like you just go to the comments and it's just people just being like, seriously? Like what about Battlefield 1 does it? And what about like, just all these other games that have like 64 v 64 and you're going to tell me that and the difference is that obviously those games are purpose built, from the ground up for that console,
Yeah.
for that system, for that type of gameplay. Whereas this game, does a lot of other different things that those games don't do, and so you can't judge. They're never apples to apples comparisons here. But it is hard, I think, for the gaming community en masse to swallow that idea that just like, nope, these systems just simply aren't powerful for 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
And it's just like
I mean,
even at
that's what
even
I'm
at
gonna be playing on
1080p.
PC. That's
Yeah.
why I'm going to be playing PC because
Yep.
I mean, with my 1080 and stuff, I should be able to run 4K
Yeah.
at 60. I imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, at the actual event, they had it running 4K 60 on a 1080 Ti,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be fully optimized yet or anything like that. So
Right.
I imagine I'm going to be able to do that, and I can't wait to play it on PC. Just like with keyboard, mouse, and the extra precision you're going to get, it's just going to be so nice and fluid. Like over 60 frames a second. It's just going to be nice.
On that same front of kind of like performance, when we originally talked about this, they had said basically no dedicated servers. Like that was the news that had kind of come out. And now, I think we were both looking at the same article from Kotaku here, where basically they explained that they're not using the term dedicated servers, but it's like a dedicated server like hybrid mix.
Yeah, so they said a hybrid, didn't they?
Yeah. And so this is the engineering lead, Matt Segur, Segur, said that every activity in Destiny 2 is hosted by one of our servers. You'll never again suffer from a host migration during your raid attempt or a trials match, which differs from Destiny 1, where these hosting duties were performed by player consoles and only script and mission logic ran in a data center. And so they said we don't use that term. We don't use the term dedicated servers because in the gaming community, dedicated servers refers to a pure client-server networking model. Destiny 2 uses a hybrid of client-server and peer-to-peer technology, just like Destiny 1. The server is authoritative over how the game progresses, and each player is authoritative over their own movement and abilities. So they talk about the server being like it actually is running the game content and like the physics.
And then your own system's running your movement.
Yeah, exactly. So it said the mission host and the physics host are being run in the data center, which is a lot actually.
Yeah.
So and the fact that like you're never gonna have like server migrations or players basically won't be able to tamper with the system anymore. There was a lot of issues where people could actually exploit the fact that like they were the host in weird ways. Disconnecting their router and plugging it back in and like that kind of stuff, right? And now that since the mission host and the physics host are gonna live in the cloud essentially in a dedicated server, I don't think any of that will be possible anymore.
No, I mean whether that's still going to be possible on PC, that's again one of the major things. I'm a bit dubious about on the PC is that with the file hosting and stuff being going to be on your PC, that's going to make it easy to hack.
Yeah, it's true.
So unless obviously
aimbots
I know it's
and all
going
that
through
kind
Blizzard and stuff like that, but it's still like pretty much every Blizzard game has mods.
Yeah. And
people created mods for them within days. So
can we also just point out though, like how epic like mods could be? Like I don't think they'll ever add them.
I didn't even think of that, but
yeah. Like when you mentioned it, I was like, oh man, that would be so amazing. Like people could just like add crazy ass stuff to like a raid or something where like just random bosses, like replace replace the Vault of Glass boss with like Randy Savage and like
That would be pretty cool. But
Yeah, new
again,
story, like
I
random
can't see that
story
happening.
missions, like side, like it'd be so amazing. Again, yeah, probably like a 2% chance of it happening. Like my other like pipe dream of like space fighting, but it would still be pretty awesome.
Imagine like they just like somebody coded to change your speeder into a ship,
Yeah,
and you're just flying
yeah.
around the map. That'd be
Make your
pretty cool.
speeder able to actually go like vertically as well instead of just like
Yeah,
3 feet off the ground. You could control like the height or something, and so you can actually
yeah,
like fly around the world. That'd be pretty neat.
that'd be
Yeah.
pretty cool. What else? What else have we got to talk about?
So we were
Um,
talking about PvP. So on that same
yeah,
topic, I don't know, have you gotten a chance yet? So last we talked, you hadn't had a chance to look at the new game mode. Have you? Did you have a chance to look at that yet?
I didn't know. No,
No.
I've pretty much been in the dark all week, other than like the one or two articles.
Yeah.
Um,
So the new game mode is called Countdown, and it's basically Destiny's first attack and defend mode. And so I know we talked about this before, but I think it looks really cool. It's basically um, it's kind of like planting the bomb or something like that. And so the defending team, there's 3 different objective points that they can choose from. So there's a little bit of like, a shell game as far as like, well, which one are we going to choose? And so, you're starting on different sides of the map, and the attacking team doesn't actually know which point they need to attack right from the start.
uh,
So, a team can either choose like maybe they just don't arm the bomb right away. Like maybe they just go and they just try and surprise you and just rush the attacking team right away and try and take a few of their players out before arming the bomb. Or,
mm,
maybe they go and, you know, they arm. I don't know if they can disarm it. Actually, if they can arm it at point A, like get the
and
team like
then
head and then
run over
disarm it.
to
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know like if that is possible. But what was interesting is that if the attacking, so the countdown starts, and even if the attacking team takes out the defending team, they still have to then get to the bomb and disarm it, which takes a few seconds
yeah,
within the countdown. And so I don't know, it just seemed like this really interesting dynamic. It's like multiple rounds of attack and defend, kind of going back and forth. So I'm really excited for it. Like I watched a bunch of gameplay of it, and it looked really cool. And actually, the gameplay I was watching, like the player wasn't actually like that good, and it still looked like a ton of fun. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Um, I think that'll be interesting.
mm,
I think the 4v4 will be cool too, actually, because 4v4 is like that tight, fast-paced gameplay is my favorite part about Halo 5. Like I just love that style of gameplay.
yeah,
Um, a little bit smaller maps, a little bit just kind of more close quarters type combat. Now, if they do 4v4 and it's still like these like big sprawling maps or something, and they feel empty, that will not be enjoyable. But if
no,
they
yeah,
balance it properly, I think it can still be good. So, um, let's see. And I guess the only other points that I have are so the release date is September 8th, 2017 on Xbox One and PS4. And I think you have a quote about what they said about the PC date.
yeah. When asked by PC Gamer, their game director Luke Smith, he said, "We haven't committed to a PC date yet. At Bungie, we're totally committed to making the PC build as great as we can, and we want to make sure this version of the game has the time it needs to bake in the oven.
Yeah.
So it's a delicious piece of bread when it comes out." Now, if that's not a quote that says, "Don't
Yeah.
expect it at launch, guys,"
Yeah.
I mean, that really annoys me
Yep.
because
They've
it now means I'm gonna have to buy it on the PS4 and the PC.
yeah. But man, what a bummer. Like what a like you're
Yeah,
trying to cater, you're trying to like romance this new like PC market, and then you're like, "Oh, by the way, like everyone will be playing it without you."
I
Like
mean, hopefully they'll come out in the next couple of weeks and
yeah.
say we're gonna get it out on time,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But if it is delayed, if it's more than a week,
Yeah.
I think that's gonna hurt it quite a lot because
I think so.
or it will hurt sales in one aspect or another because
Yep.
PS4 wise, or PS4 Xbox wise, people may buy it, but they
Yeah.
might not want to sink a hell of a lot of time into it
Right.
because they're just going to switch over to the PC in a month's time when it comes out.
Yeah.
So why sink all your time into a PS4 version only to then transfer over and have to start again?
Well, and that's assuming that those are the people that are willing to buy it twice, which I think is like a
Yeah.
very very small percentage of the
It,
market. I think realistically what happens is, I think a much larger percentage of the market are people that have both a gaming PC and a console, whether it's PS4 or Xbox. And so,
and
you
just
know,
buy on one.
right. And so maybe they would prefer to play it on PC, but instead they're like, well, man, I want to play this game now. It's out now. I'm a Destiny 1 gamer. I played it on Xbox One or PS4 or even 360 or whatever, or PS3. And so I'm just going to play it there. Like, why not? I'm used to it on console. I've played it before on
Yeah.
console. I'm going to play it on
So, I mean,
console. And then,
I've booked the day off work. I've booked the day off work just so I can play it all
yeah.
day.
And so then
And
when it comes,
if it
yeah, go
doesn't
ahead.
come out on the PC that day, then I'm gonna have to play it on PS4 for 24 hours. And it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna sink 24 hours into a game which I'm gonna have to do again when it comes out on PC.
Yeah.
Because I want to play it in 4K with the upgraded textures, the upgraded frame rate. Because the different, like, as games industry, I think was saying it on YouTube that the 1080p versions on the consoles looked quite soft, whereas the 4K PC version looked hyper real.
Interesting.
So the difference, from what they've said, is night and day.
Yeah. I'm also concerned about like player base too, because if all of a sudden you have all these potential PC players that instead just got it on console maybe, and then the PC players that do eventually get it because they wait or they don't have console or whatever the case may be, is there going to be a player base for them? Like, are they going to be waiting in 5-10 minutes in matchmaking because there's just not a huge amount of people that are all in matchmaking at any one time, which is like that kills a game. Like that kills it worse than anything else.
It does, yeah. Like trying to find a raid, for example, and there not being any fans to join, and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. So it's
that is a good
it
point.
makes me worry that like, are they just sending it out to die almost on a certain reason? I mean, I really hope not, but if like you said, if it's more, a week, maybe that's fine. A couple weeks even, okay, but if it starts getting more than
2
that,
months, or
oh man, forget it.
If they come out and say it's actually Christmas holiday 2017 for PC,
oh, yeah. Yep,
then
forget it. Just that might as well just be dead in the water, I think.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then so that's the PC. And then the only other thing is they have announced there's a beta coming to both consoles. I don't know if they announced a beta for PC or not.
They did. They said it was coming to all three, which is why this whole thing about the release date is a bit weird.
Yeah.
Because they said it was all coming to the PC in, is it July, wasn't it? Like mid-July or something around then.
So they said there's no official date on the. I think they initially kind of gave a time window, and then after the reveal event, it kind of like evaporated into like, well, we'll let you know once we have more information. So maybe they pushed some stuff or something. I'm not sure, but
if they're pushing the PC release date, does that mean there's no PC beta now, or is that going to be a later beta, or it's all up in the water, isn't it? All up in the air kind of thing. But they need. I think they need to quell that like rumor that they need to give that information as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Or it could leave a bit of a sour taste in people's mouths to say.
Yeah. All right.
But, yeah.
I think that's everything I had. Did you have any kind of last points you wanted to make?
Just the only thing else I've got on my notes here is about the like four or five new areas kind of thing.
Oh, that's right, the new worlds.
Obviously, you got Earth, Nasus, Titan, and Io.
Yeah.
And then the new like Strike, the inverted spire, takes you to the Nexus.
Okay.
So they're the five kind of new areas. Earth being the European Dead Zone, which is 2 times larger than any Destiny 1 area.
Which is awesome.
The new base is called The Farm and is run by an NPC called Hawthorne. So,
yeah,
that's like the new like social area.
Does not look as cool as the tower, I have to say.
Not from what we've seen, though.
Yeah.
with the area being massive, who knows what's going to be there?
Yeah.
And obviously there's going to be NPCs around the world, so
true.
Hopefully there's going to be stuff there. So you got Titan, which is the moon of Saturn, and is 100% liquid.
That looks awesome.
and that all the fighting's done on an old human utopia, and that's where Savala is going to be based.
Yep.
You got Nasus, which is the like home of the Vex,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a machine world where Cade's hanging out.
Yeah.
Which again looks pretty cool.
Yep.
And obviously, lastly, you got Io, the sulfuric moon of Jupiter, the last place the travelers touched, and is the sacred place of the warlocks.
Yeah.
And Ikora's on the planet due to that connection and stuff. So, I mean, even like them just giving that kind of like detail links into what we said first of all about there being more story in the game.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing like that.
Yeah, the fact that there's like, this is where this protagonist is going to be, like, once kind of like the light goes away and they need to like basically retreat to lick their wounds, like they go back to kind of like these planets that are meaningful to them, and obviously we're going to be seeking out these kind of main characters to help us along our way and, you know, point us in the right direction and stuff. So yeah, it seems pretty cool. It definitely, you know, the fact that you see things like, oh, it's 2 times bigger than any, you know, previous Destiny game, which I don't know why they definitely phrase it like that. I remember seeing that and I was like, well, there's only one previous Destiny game, so okay.
I think they meant area within the game.
Yeah,
I
know.
I think that's what I think they said it wrong, but yeah. So like,
yeah,
other than any planet in Destiny 1 is
right.
Yeah, I guess.
Which just means more opportunities for, you know, more public events, more lost sectors, more treasure maps, like just more content in general, which gets me excited. So
yeah, imagine if they bring something like world bosses into it as a public event.
Yeah. Well, that
Like
was.
you just
You mean as opposed to like, because you would have like the bosses where it'd be like a takedown of, you know, like the giant like spider thing on one and that kind of stuff.
But they weren't that hard, and they
That's true.
didn't take much. You literally just go in there, shoot them a few times, use a super, and they were done.
Yeah.
But imagine they brought one of the raid bosses or one of the strike bosses out into the open,
Yeah.
and they used that area of the map for different like mechanics, and that'd be so cool.
That'd be pretty neat.
And that would actually get people going to the event, public events as well, because I mean they weren't that exciting, the public events. It was defend the warsat, or just shoot a few enemies, or
that's true,
take down this guy as he walks towards a portal. And so something like that would make it a lot more exciting and a lot more rewarding, I guess.
Yeah.
Rather than just getting a blue engram, you get a rare, or you get a legendary or something like that.
Like a boss that you've only ever encountered in like this specific way with like 2 other players, or, you know, maybe a raid boss that you've only encountered in like this specific way. Now all of a sudden it's, hey, there's like 12 people around, like all taking, and like you can feel a little bit more powerful because you know, the damage is being kind of divided. You know, just, you know, you still have to kind of be a little bit tactical about it, but at the same time, it's just a little bit more fun to kind of just. It's always the most fun when you just get to be like a badass and just kind of, yeah, I'm gonna wreck this guy and kind of be all brazen. So, yeah,
awesome.
Cool. I'm excited for that. Yeah, I think that's it. So do you want to maybe plug your channel real quick? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically a variety streamer on Twitch over at twitch.tv/ACGC Gaming. I play pretty much anything and everything. Recently been playing PlayerUnknown Public Battlegrounds, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Heavy Rain, The Witness, Prey, Rocket League. Yeah, I literally, my games are like endless. I play anything and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of story games and RPGs and stuff as well. So, yeah, if you want to come over check me out, then feel free to. I'm always there every night.
You should do that, everyone who is watching this, because he's got an awesome channel. He's a cool guy. Like I said, I screwed up the first time recording this, and he went out of his way to set this up again and sit down here and chat with me for over an hour now about the amazing Destiny 2. So definitely go ahead, check out his channel, give him a follow. He's doing lots of cool things. He actually plays a lot of the same games that I do. So if you like my stream, you'll probably like his because he's playing a lot of the same games. So with that, I think that's everything we have for you today on Destiny 2. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/GameTangent, Facebook and Twitter, same thing, at GameTangent. And check out ACGC. Thank you so much for being with me and
No problem,
spending
Dave.
the time. And that's it for today. So thanks so much for watching this episode of Game Tangent. My name is Chris Enriquez, aka Hyper Neon, and we'll see you next time.